But once upon a time, in a vibrant village nestled beneath the bright African sun, there lived a woman named Safina. Safina wasn't just any villager, she was the most talented hairdresser in the entire region. With her deft fingers and an eye for beauty, she could twist, braid, and weave magic into every strand of hair she touched. Her small home, shaded by a large baobab tree, was a place of laughter, stories, and the hum of conversations as people came from far and wide to experience her skills. But Safina's greatest pride wasn't her talent, it was her daughter, Amora. Amora was a girl with a heart as pure as the village stream and a smile as bright as the dawn. She was loved by everyone for her sweetness and kindness, always ready to help her mother, weaving small braids or passing the beads for intricate hairstyles. Even though Amora was still young, she had an uncanny talent for hairdressing herself, often admired for the perfect little braids she could do, much like her mother. Life, however, had not always been kind to Safina and Amora. Amora's father, Duru, had passed away when Amora was just a child. Duru was the love of Safina's life, a man as gentle as the wind, whose absence was felt every day. His passing had left a void in their lives, but Safina, strong and determined, worked tirelessly to ensure that Amora grew up in a home filled with love, warmth, and resilience. The villagers respected Safina, not just for her talent but for her strength as a single mother raising her child with care and grace. Mothers often brought their children to Safina, hoping their daughters could learn more than just hairdressing from her. They wanted their children to see the bond that Safina and Amora shared, a bond built on love, respect, and mutual understanding. As the years passed, Amora blossomed into a strikingly beautiful young woman, like a rose blooming in the warmth of the African sun. But something had shifted in Amora. The once obedient and joyful girl who loved helping her mother had begun to change. She no longer helped Safina with the hairdressing, and sharp words and a growing distance replaced the kindness she once showed. Amora's laughter, once so full of warmth, now carried a hint of bitterness, as if the winds of change had swept over her heart. Safina noticed the transformation and felt a growing unease. The bond they had shared seemed to unravel. "Amora," she would gently call, "come, help me braid these strands like you used to." But Amora, with a flick of her wrist and an annoyed sigh, would say, "I don't have time for this, mother. I have more important things to do." This shift weighed heavily on Safina's heart. She had raised Amora to be kind, thoughtful, and respectful. But now, it felt as if a thick fog had settled between them, clouding their once strong connection. Safina knew something had to change, but she did not know how to bring her daughter back to her. One day, a letter arrived at their small home, carried by a young boy from the neighboring town. The letter was from Nena, Safina's sister. Nena lived in the bustling town of Ijede, a place far larger than their quiet village, where the streets were filled with music, traders, and the colorful fabrics of 1,000 merchants. Nena, a woman known for her strict discipline and sharp tongue, had heard rumors of Amora's recent behavior. The letter was short and to the point. "Dear Safina, I hear your daughter has forgotten her roots. Send her to me in Ijede. I will teach her the respect she seems to have lost. This is not a request, it is necessary." Safina sighed as she read the letter. She loved her sister but knew how stern Nena could be. Still, deep down, she wondered if a change of scenery might help Amora find herself again. Perhaps Nena's strict ways would help bring back the Amora she once knew. After much thought, Safina decided to send her daughter away. When Safina told Amora of the plan, Amora was surprisingly eager. She thought it would be a grand adventure, new places, new people, and most importantly, an escape from the quiet life of the village. Finally, Amora said with a smile, I get to leave this boring village and see the world." But Safina warned her, "This is not for fun, Amora. It's for you to learn and grow." Amora paid little attention to her mother's words, packing her things with excitement and preparing for the journey to Ijede. When Amora arrived in Ijede with her aunt, the world that greeted her was unlike anything she had imagined. The town was alive with music, color, and movement. Traders called out from their market stalls, women danced in the streets, and the air smelled of spices and roasted meats. It was vibrant, exciting, and filled with energy. At first, Amara was on her best behavior. She helped her aunt with the chores, cleaning the house, fetching water from the well, and even going to the market. Nena, with her stern demeanor, didn't allow any laziness, and Amora, still adjusting, complied. But soon, Amora met a group of young women who lived in Ijede. These women were different from the girls in her village. They dressed in fine clothes, bright, bold fabrics that caught everyone's eye. They spoke confidently, laughed loudly, and seemed to know everything about the world. To Amora, they were dazzling, like rare gems. Before long, Amora was drawn into their world. She began spending her evenings with them, attending dances and parties, and even visiting the wealthier parts of town where men showered them with attention. Amora, who had once been the quiet village girl, now reveled in this new world of excitement and admiration. The young men in Ijede were captivated by her beauty, and Amora basked in their attention. She started to change. Her modest village dresses were replaced with brightly colored wraps adorned with beads and gold. She began speaking like the girls of Ijede, mimicking their confidence, and soon, she found herself caught in a whirlwind of new experiences. But Nena noticed the changes in Amora. She saw the late nights, the new clothes, and the way Amora carried herself. Nena, wise beyond her years, knew what was happening. She warned her niece, Amora, "Remember where you come from. Do not lose yourself in this new world. It is not all as it seems." But Amora, intoxicated by her new life, waved off the warning. "Auntie, you don't understand. I'm just having fun. Everyone loves me here. I'm finally living." Nena sighed, knowing that Amora was walking down a dangerous path, but she could do little more than watch. The girl had to learn the hard way. As time passed, Amora's involvement with the young men of Ijede deepened. They showered her with gifts, beautiful clothes, jewelry, and compliments. Amora believed she had found true love, but in reality, she was being used. The young men were charmed by her beauty and her carefree attitude, but none of them saw her as someone they would marry or build a future with. One day, Amora awoke feeling unwell. At first, she thought it was just exhaustion from the late nights and the endless parties. But as the days went by, her sickness didn't go away, it grew worse. Fear began to creep into her heart. When she confided in one of her friends, the harsh truth was revealed: Amora was pregnant.
Shock washed over her. Amara had no idea who the father could be. Her once carefree world suddenly became a prison of fear and regret. The young men who had once admired her now turned away, refusing to take responsibility. "That's not my child," they would say, backing away, leaving her in tears. Disgraced and abandoned, Amara knew she could not stay in Ijede. With no one left to turn to, she packed her things and prepared for the long journey back to her village. Her aunt Nena, disappointed but compassionate, sent her home with little more than a few words of advice. "You have learned your lesson, Amara. Now go back to where you belong and start again." Amara returned to her village, but she was no longer the bright, innocent girl who had left. She walked through the village streets, her head lowered, her once colourful clothing replaced with simple, modest garments. The villagers whispered as she passed, their judgment heavy in the air. "Is that Amara? She's changed so much. Look at her now." When she reached her mother's home, Safina stood at the doorway, her heart heavy with worry and sadness. The mother and daughter embraced, though both knew the road ahead would not be easy. Over the next few months, Amara slowly began to rebuild her life. With her mother's support, she learned to braid hair again, finding solace in the simple, rhythmic movements of the work. Safina never once scolded her daughter, but instead showed her the same love and patience she had always given. Amara, now humbled by her experience, worked hard to regain the trust of the villagers. She spent her days helping others, weaving not just hair, but mending the relationships she had broken. Slowly, the whispers faded, replaced by quiet admiration for her determination to start again. As time passed, Amara gave birth to a baby boy. She named him Kelechi, meaning "thank God" in their language, for despite her mistakes, she was grateful for the new life she had brought into the world. The boy became the light of her life, and Amara vowed to raise him with the love and wisdom that her mother had shown her. One evening, as the sun set over the village, Safina and Amara sat together under the baobab tree. The air was cool, and the sound of the nearby stream filled the silence. Safina, looking at her daughter and grandson, smiled softly. "Amara," she said, "you have learned the hardest lesson of all, that true beauty doesn't come from the clothes you wear or the attention you receive. It comes from kindness, respect, and the love you give to others." Amara nodded, tears in her eyes, understanding now what she had been too blind to see before. She had sought admiration and attention, but in the end, she realized that the love and acceptance she truly needed had always been right there, in her mother's arms and the simple life they shared. And so, Amara's journey came full circle, a story of loss, mistakes, and redemption. The village, once a place of judgment, became a place of new beginnings, where Amara could raise her son with the values she had once forgotten but had now embraced fully.